afternoon and very warm greeting to everyone. My name is Rachel Bay from DHA Express, and I am Director of Asia Pacific Export Compliance, looking after Regional Screening Center located in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and also act as Regional Export Control Officer for Asia Pacific. First and foremost, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Korean Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy for inviting me to share our experience from DHL perspective in regards to export control and compliance practice in place. I hope this sharing will be beneficial to everyone and we all able to learn from each other throughout this section. Before we delve further, allow me to provide a brief introduction to DPDHL. DPDHL is the world's leading logistics company, and Deutsche Post DPDHL is a home to two strong brands. The first brand referring to Deutsche Post, the post for Germany. Second brand is referring to DHL, the logistics company for the world. Further to this, DPDHL, a global company with a unique profile. DPDHL is also Germany's #1 mail and parcel service provider, #1 in international express delivery and contract logistics, a leader in the forwarding business and a global e-commerce enabler. When we look at the DPDHL overall structure, DPDHL contains 5 corporate divisions. #1, Post Pass Germany. #2, Express, providing the transport service to deliver urgent documents and goods on time from door to door. #3, Global Forwarding. And then #4, Supply Chain. Supply chain is a world leader in the contract logistics market, including warehouse, as well as value-added service. #5, e-commerce solution. This is a new business model started in 2019, and it focuses on domestic and on-time definite international parcel delivery. Let's move on to quick snapshot of our DPDHL in terms of some key facts for year 2020. Quite a lot of information is available here. I think the main key facts we want to share, #1 is employ. We employ about 570,000 employees in 220 countries and territories. When we look at the Express division handles over 1 million time-definite international shipments per day. And you also, if you look at the e-commerce, last year, e-commerce able to deliver and support over 1 billion shipments per year. What is the DPDHL strategy? DPDHL main focus is sustainability aligned with the strategy 2025. This page will explain each dimension under strategy 2025. What is our purpose, vision, and value? Our mission, excellence simply deliver. Our business unit focus. The company is focusing even more constantly on the sustained potential for profitable long-term growth contains its core logistics business. Furthermore, this will stepping up the digital transformation of the group that is already underway in all business divisions. Moving toward to DHA Express, where I'm coming from, and then which we're going to share more detail. How do you manage the export compliance for Asia Pacific? It is the greatest international express company in the world. Also a market leader in express delivery. That is DHA Express. DHA Express, our customer proposition, it is we pick up and we deliver document and parcel as fast as possible around the world as per scheduled express network. We help to support and maintain the world trade by enabling our customers to expand their business to and from any country. DHL Express, what is our core service? Our core service consists of international door-to-door service, fast and reliable every time. Focus on pieces up to 30 kg and shipment up to 300 kg. Full track and trace capability throughout the network. This page is quite complicated, but it gives you some flavor, some information about DHL Express core product. The main core product we offer to our loyal customer is time-definite international and domestic. It's known as a TDI, premium segment within express industry. It's a dedicated delivery at the scheduled time of the day, example like a 9 a.m. or 12 p.m. or 3 p.m. Cross-border and intra or between the continent. This is a express core product we are explaining this page. DHL first incorporated in 1969 and begins by operating a door-to-door express delivery service, transporting documents only between San Francisco, California, and Hawaii. Now, after more than 50 years operating across the globe, our global network has been expanded up to 220 countries and territories. This is explain DHL Express today, the global overview for year 2020. The numbers do not stop there. We also own 3 global hubs and 18 regional hubs across the border. Furthermore, we own 280 dedicated aircraft and schedule 2.2 thousand flights per day. Today, DHL Express has served 2.7 million customers and will continue to serve more in the future. Moving on to next agenda, which is export control in DHL Express. In a nutshell, our controls are embedded in our process. What is a DHL Express export control? We control end-to-end supply chain. Track trace allows for location of shipment to be traceable back to origin. We do perform the required screening on the shipper and consignee detail along with the sanctioned country screening, which is aligned with the internal compliance program. We have and maintain the record. We establish business relationship and also shipping history. We have dedicated regional screening center located at Kuala Lumpur, Costa Rica, and Prague, staffed by employees with the relevant experience and background. We also have security department employed with a law enforcement background. Last but not least, we have protocol to prevent unauthorized interference with a shipment. Example like access control or a visitor escort policy. Before we move to internal compliance program, allow me to introduce export control and sanction compliance program under DHL Express. Export control and sanction compliance program is one of DHL group policy that impose the obligation to all the business units to comply with all applicable export control and sanction law and regulation. It is a very comprehensive program designed to ensure all business units are aligned and meet the compliance requirement enforced globally. From this program, internal compliance program is developed and designed to expand the principle and standard of export control and sanction. For DHL Express, our ICP, internal compliance program, contains of 8 pillars. First, Number 1, senior management commitment. 2, organization and resource. 3, risk assessment. 4, written policy and procedure. 5, training. 6, audit and monitoring. 7, reporting and investigation. 8, record keeping. We shall go into some of the detail for each pillars. To support the execution of a DPDHL Group Global Trade Compliance Policy, a strong commitment from DPDHL Board of Management and the senior management of each corporate division is required to carry out the duty. This is very important in order to ensure all applicable export control and sanction law and regulation are in compliance. In terms of organization and resource, each business unit shall maintain the necessary staff and resource to carry out day-to-day operation. But in terms of structure and governance of export control in DHL Express, generally it divides into 3 main layers. Global Trade Law Office carry the responsibility to setting the policy for DPDHL in area of export control and sanction compliance program, focusing on legal advice. Secondly, Divisional Export Control Officer, who responsible to manage the business unit export control and sanction compliance program. Lastly, Regional Export Control Officer, who has a responsibility for regional level implementation of the program and also manage and support screening center. Currently, we do have 3 dedicated screening centers globally. It is to carry and perform day-to-day screening related operational activity as per operating procedure. Those 3 screening centers located in Prague to covering EU, SSAA, and MENAT region, and Kuala Lumpur covering for Asia and China, and also for America and US at Costa Rica. Third pillar is referring to risk assessment. Risk assessment is a very important because it is to evaluate potential compliance risk and the adequacy of a risk mitigation that exists in activity undertaken. The goal is to reduce and eliminate the likelihood and/or its impact that could turn into actual non-compliance situation. For DHL Express, the risk assessment has been carried out on a regular basis to determine and understand current situation and to plan the risk mitigation. One important aspect of compliance is to have very clear direction, process, documentation on how to carry out day-to-day operation to prevent the employee from the creating process or validation error. This is where fourth pillar of ICP comes into picture. Proper internal documentation in a single platform will give clear understanding to all corporate divisions in regards to adhering to business requirements. Some of the examples DP, DHL, and DHL Express having in terms of written policy and procedure, export control and sanction compliance manual, global standing operating procedure, internal training material, process flow, and job aid. This documentation gives very clear picture of what we need to do day to day to make sure we understand what we are doing and what do we need to do and what kind of action to be carried out in case there's any gaps identified. Next pillar is referring to training. Apart from internal documentation, training also play a vital role in order to maintain an appropriate level of awareness and understanding of any trend, changes, and interpretation that impact the operation. In order to ensure all the relevant staff to be equipped with adequate training, an internal training catalog and calendar has been developed, which contains of a comprehensive training program. Example like corporate training, divisional and operational training, and internal external training are available for all the relevant staff in DHL Express to participate and then join to maintain the awareness and the knowledge what required to perform the job. 6 pillars of ICP touch on audit and monitoring. Audit and monitoring are one of the tools to measure the effectiveness of day-to-day process. Through the internal self-assessment and quality audit program, we will able to identify gaps, analyzing the root cause, and brainstorm the action plan. Example, what DHL Express carry under the audit and monitoring. We do have such as peer review and country self-assessment and corporate audit. This is some of the sample form to carry the audit and monitoring. And also in the event any potential non-compliance or violation has been identified, it must be reported to management as per defined reporting channel for further investigation. More detailed lists out in the 7 pillars known as a reporting and investigation. The last pillar, the 8th pillar of ICP, is referring to record keeping. It is a policy of DPDHL that all the data record related to export control and sanction must be kept in the relevant platform or in all other record storage system at least for 5 years or such longer period as may be required by local regulation. Some of the example, what kind of data, what kind of record to be kept maintained and what is available, such as loading documentation, commercial shipping documentation, or export authorization, or relevant any other document issued by authorization. This is some of the example thus require for us to maintain and keep in the defined single platform. I've been gone through each pillar under our internal compliance program developed and designed under DPDHL Export Control and Sanction Compliance Program with some of the example carried by DHL Express. As a logistic provider, it is to ensure we do comply with all required law and regulation in order to secure and protect our customer, our supplier, our employee, and our network. Hope it gives you some high level of understanding on our ICP. We'll move on to the last chapter of today's presentation. Now we move on to challenge. Of course, based on past experience and what's happening in this moment, similar to other organizations, we do face some challenges in the export control implementation. We divide those challenges into 4 main areas. The first, control list. Different interpretation of a regulation by customer. Some people think this is a beauty of regulation. However, sometimes different interpretation leads to more confusion and misunderstanding. Example like non-harmonized classification. For example, for US company, US product classification apply, but this is not the case for rest of the world. And also overlapping conflict of approach between the law and regulation. Different exemption apply at each jurisdiction. Example like a transit transshipment. Those transit transshipment of a control item is a tedious as a different jurisdiction apply their own regulation. it requires to have very careful care and extra attention to manage the shipment as a logistic provider. In terms of a technical expertise, since this is a rich talent pool market, this area still needs more attention as a potential career path. On top of that, availability of export control related training is very limited. It requires tailored training dedicated to export control. Awareness. Awareness also is one of the challenges we are facing currently. Lack of understanding and do not aware of importance of export control that applicable to the company. Example like accurate declaration information required when the shipping with a complete detail. How important is to have proper and accurate data information for export control. Still need to put a lot of effort to increase the awareness in the business and public. Lastly, system capability. Regulatory change has an impact on process, system, and resource. This implementation may require extra resource and new system update to cater the requirement. Definitely, it will take some time as a system capability has some sort of limitation. Last item, local language. Example, currently it is tedious to ask there is a lack of system or provider they can provide 100% accurate translation from local language to Latin character for screening purpose like a dinner party or a sanction list. Those are current challenge we are having as a logistic provider. I think most of the industry has a similar challenge which we are having in this moment under export control. Let's move on to next page. All these challenges have never stopped us from keep moving with a passion and can-do spirit. DHL Express will continue to deliver great service quality to our customer. Before I end this presentation, here are a few key takeaways to everyone in here. First, internal compliance program is very important to every compliance unit in each business division. The company needs to demonstrate the right commitment to ICP and set a clear internal policy and procedure with a clear communication. Number two, increase general awareness across all the sector is required for export control so that everyone is able to play a critical role in spotting red flag for potential violation. Last, sharing and learning the best practice among industry and from the government would be beneficial to everyone. Collaboration between government and industry is crucial in building relationship and creating partnership. To educate industry on the importance of export control trade law besides providing latest development or clear guidance in this area. To sum up my sharing, it is very crucial for organizations to adhere to export control if one would want to expand their horizon. This should be also aligned with the implementation of ICP and strong commitment to demonstrate. I hope all of you, even myself, will gain some benefit or take away from this section. On behalf of DHL, thanks again, and we are looking forward to having more such collaboration and engagement between the government and industry. That's all from my end. Thank you.